Page ein Zion, Shom Atzales, Yesam Mishar Kulis. I'm sorry, Yesam Misham Akulis Yes. Yesam Misham Akulis Yes. So we finished saying one way to explain why the Gimel Tiniest, Shalak Shavim, the Gemara, the Mishnah talks in Sechas Tiniest. The first three are more lenient. First three is just a minimum tiniest, and then the next 10 are higher. More machmir says. First, he said it was back and forth. First, he brought a raya from it that did gimel mitas arachim, did gimel are the additional three are low madrega biyah, because that's why it's more kula. Then he said no, punkt fakir. Other things that if it's a kula, it's a sign of that's from higher madrega, because we see in Bataraya that Chacham Gadol can be Mekel Mo, and the Gemara says Koycha de Teira Odif. That the being matir is you need more power. So the fact that first three are kula means that it's higher madrigal, like the shita of the Vaigon, the Gimel Rosh. But then he goes back and forth. Now he brings a different point. In other words, at this point we're saying that coolest come from higher madrig, but then he's going to bring from another source where the coolest are from a higher madrig alone. Because we get there with the muscle shamas nido, but in Dikduke Seifrim. In Kotetei explains that Dikduke Seifrim Davka Shein Davka Pres Avaraba Eliyain. Dikduke Seifrim, the Takonis of Chachamim, they come from a higher level of Avos Hashem. After the Rabbi Milmail, the Avaraba, the Avos Elam Afton Hashem Elkein, Avaraba Afton to Nusach Ashkenaz, which Chassidus also brings out places. The Av of the Eibishter to us. The divrei seifrim, which is from Avarab, Kamal Derech Moshe. We have a Moshe. Father, because of his great love for his dear child, he's more stringent with him. So when a father loves it, when a father is indifferent to a child, he said, "Do what you want, it's fine." But when the stronger his love is, the more is machmir, the more stringent he is to me, because they must ensure to protect the child, make sure that he doesn't should not get messed up. That's a mashal. So similar to that, all the stringencies and all the xeris of Chachamim, so all these dikdukim are a result of the Eibishter's greater love. By their dikdukim, another point is, it says that to the dikdukim, the dikdukim Torah, b'mamshech ma'ayim madrega. That's itself. Ma'ayim Azal pasuk Isa Hashem panav elecha. It says in pasuk Isa Hashem panav elecha. The Eibishter will raise his face to you. So the Medrash said, the Gemara says, it says, it brings a dogma that it says in pasuk that's mitzad the pasuk only when you're satisfied from your food, only then do you make v'chazamaz. Says the Gemara, in Eden, I'm a dagdek at kazais at kabei. They eat a kazais at the kabei and they're the way b'chazamaz. So what do we see here? The dafka alidation with dagdek latzim yesam amealpi atera they're medagdik more than the simple meaning of the Torah. Savoto al yedei well, and so that brings, from the Abish's perspective, the Nesias Ponim, that he's Nesias Ponim is more like a type of forgiveness. So so we see that, what do we see here? That hummus are a result from a higher madrega. Because to the hummus, they reach a higher ab. Oksiv, and there's another source to strengthen this point, that the hummus reach a higher level. Oksiv avaya gia choshki. The alidavka alide bir achosh navash is only to the refinement of the darkness of Nashama Shazel, the Dukim. That is a result of the Dukim. So Dag the Machmir Alatzim, and the person is Machmir. Al Nimshal brings Vavai, as the Shema by the Leila. It brings another source from Hanukkah, that Vavai Gechosh. It says in the Maimon, it says together with the meaning of Yitzavai Panamelach. Arei, Shadig Dukim Nimshach Madrega Vayesa. Shadig Dukim Davka Mamshich Madrega Eliyah. So we see in this sugya from in Divrei Seifrim that humor. The question was, what's our humor kula? So firstly, but a source that says that kula comes from a higher place. The Odif and Chacham Gadol is Mekel. But we see in this story with the Siogim of Divrei Seifrim, the fakir that humor comes from a higher level. So it's a steer. Ain't a say so much as well like Moshe Mechem Gadol. Not going to suffice. So how do you reconcile the two sources, whether Kula is from a higher place or Humor is a higher place? It's not considered why. The fact that a Chacham Gadol can be appeased, and that he's not angry and he's forgiven. This is not. It's really doesn't, when he forgives, it doesn't mean that he's mispious. It doesn't mean that the thing that caused them to get upset was totally removed. It's a function that Baal Moichin has a specific talent and ability to contain opposites. The Katnas Amoyachin, he brings in the Hagab. We know the difference. Katnas Amoyachin, Gadlas Amoyachin, Klein Kep, what we call in Yiddish, Klein Kepelikat, and Rachmas Amoyachin, and maturity is the Katnas Amoyachin, Lo Yochol Yisbel Afochim. The person who's not immature and Klein Kepelik, he cannot handle opposites. The Mele, Lachain Akas, Oegel That's why when something is done that contradicts his interests, he gets angry, much stronger. And in other words, it's multi-directional. Either like a child, when he gets very angry because he didn't get what he wants, he's very angry. And then when you give him what he wants, you give him something else, then he forgets about his anger. It means in the nimshal view, means it's bottled. That's it. He forgot about the whole thing. So it's one dimensional. It's either that or that. Mashenken. The Gaddish is the doesn't mean that he's totally forgiving, but he can handle the opposite. Ein akaz oizel kach. When Nakol is Paish, is Gavas Achasod. So when he said that he forgives, doesn't mean that he lost. He's saying that he's okay with what's happening, but he can handle it. He can handle opposites. Mikomchem nisha behelim. So the fact that the thing that caused them to be upset is there, still hidden, but because he can handle opposites. So he's not affected by it. He's muspais. Or Kamois, he brings either way the two famous examples that you learned a lot of my mom already. Two examples. Number one, Kamois Agam Shal Api Vachamosim Mekom Simchas Liba Zemin Misamigdash. We learned about it in the last time we learned about it. I don't think it was in this. I don't remember if it was this safe actually, but the famous Gemara, the Chassidus brings the steer in the Get to Yerushalayim. In one place says, this city was angering me from the day it was established. And the same and the other pasuk says that Simchas Liba is the Binyan Beis Hamikdash. That the Binyan Beis Hamikdash was Simcha. So usually it says in Chassidus brings this is a raya that in Meichin, from the perspective of Meichin, it can be two opposites. You have both. Both are true. He is angry for the misbehavior, but he's happy because Beis Hamikdash is a great thing. So in the world of Meichin, he can handle opposites. That's example number one. Example number two, that's a Gemara in Yevomis, Lagabe Shaul, that Shaul was eulogized, it was masked, it was a hesped and Shaul. You know, he says that it's more complicated. They're punished because they were not masked Shaul, and also for some is masking talking about Shaul, that Shaul destroyed Ira Kohen. So the Gemara says a pasuk Makom Mishpat Makom Shedonim Maskir Velzukasa. At the same time that he's being judged. In the negative, he also remind his positive stuff. So this is another example that in the world of Meichin contains opposites. So basically, what he says from the fact that Meichin the kas is subdued is because it contains opposite. So that's how he reconciles the steer. Again, so to summarize the point he made here, started saying that the piece we learned yesterday that Kula comes from Mayam Madrega. Then he brings some of the other sources that Chumra is from Mayam Madrega. So what is it? Is it Kula or Chumra? So the answer is Kula is the marshal of Kula is mispious. That the Baal Meichin is mispious. So he says the truth is that there's a difference. The fact that we say that Kulas come from Mayam Madrega, that's the Madrega of Kula is Meichin. It's not that he's totally fixed the problem. He just is the Meichin are so high that he can handle opposites. That's the meaning of Kula. When we say that the Chumra gets mad, the Chumra actually undoes all the negative effects. So it's maskonah that Chumra is really higher. So that's what he says here. כדי שירות ולשאר שום רושם זה על ידי דקדוקים וחומוס דווקא שמחמר אז. וזהו דנשיא הספונים של המיילה גם האורס הפונים דאיסה ואלה מיילה מיוער בה. שתות יותר הפסק זה.
But it seems like the hummus is on himself, not on somebody else.
What? What do you mean?
It seems like the chumrah is machmer al atzmai. Someone is machmer himself, so he reaches a madrega of yis upon him. But here it looks like the judge. I mean, if someone like a Rav, that's like.
I hear your point. Because the machmer al atz. Okay, it's a good point you're making that there's a difference if someone. Okay, no, it's all by the way. It's all in the mashal. In the nimshal, it's the same. It's much the higher madrega. In other words, the chumrah comes from Abba, like a father who's very strict with his child. That comes from a higher madrega. And the chacham, both of them is in the mashal, for example. It's all both of them are imposed from above. But you're right. The medayik loshem machmer al atzmai. Okay.
I'm saying, but a Rav that's a greater Rav. He could find a kula.
Exactly, a Rav is a kula. But okay. So they're both true. He didn't. He just says which madrigal. The story with the Rav and the story with the father. They're both meshalim and lamaila. The madrigas lamaila. Which madriga do you reach? You reach ayam madriga to kula or to chumrah. So first, the marshal from the Rav is makel that the madrigal of Milo that's cooler is higher. Then he says, really, the Madrigal Ma'ala, let's call it not as high because it doesn't undo the underlying problem. Like you say, it doesn't forgive him. Mashenkin humor represents a Madrigal. It's taking care of the whole thing. It fixes it. That it's a bottom now Misholim. But you have a good point because the Lashon al Atzim, because that's the Lashon also in Gemara. Sheim medaktim al Atzmam. So he says machmir al Atzmam. But the idea is an interesting diuk. Maybe that can be also. Since this is all a marshal here, we don't have to get into the details. But yeah, maybe you're right. There's the medaktim al Atzmam. Okay, it's a good point. So we see, okay, this is a line I don't remember even learning the first time. Maybe I skipped it by mistake. So he says, there's three brachas. Yivarech Hashem Yishmerecha, Yoyer and Isa. So the Lumata Lamayla, the Isa is higher than Yoyer. So Yoyer Hashem Panevei Lecho, that's, it doesn't say it, yeah, it's just much good to tell, but it's so the Afkalidation Medagat Galatzman. So Yoyer Hashem Panevei Lecho in our scheme will be like Kula. He shines his face on you and he's forgiving you. In other words, it's cooler. Esau comes from a higher madriga. Esau he elevates. He's nosri. So that's higher than Yoel. That's a result of medagdik in a lot. So it's a cooler. It's connected to Yoel, and Chumba is connected to Esau, which is higher. Nimtzo, so according to this whole people we made now, he started like that. So remember, so Shimon HaTzadik says that the additional Gimel, the additional three are low Madrid, right? Yeah. So what's the difference in the tiniest? So the first three tiniest are more cooler, and the other 10 are chumra. So since our final decision was that the chumra is higher than cooler, like Isa is higher than Yor. So according to that, the fact that the first gimel tiniest make the other 10 machmir, it means that the gimel tiniest are lower level than the 10 tiniest, which means that the additional three numbers in the gimel midas are a lower level than the 10 spheres. So that's all right. Why should we not say that this is bia? That the additional three are bia. But really, so if you just bought a item, but when you get deeper into it, really the late cloud that Rabbi God says that the additional three are the Gimel Rosh and that says the additional three items bia, which are below the Esa sphere, the truth is loy pliga cloud. That really, there's really no disagreement here. They really fit each other. How is it possible? He says. He's going to go into a shtickle introduction. Sheresh is Savas Biyah, really the source of the creation of Biyah, and the source of the Gilul Elikus in Biyah, Zamchim Gimel Rosh Hashanah. Actually comes from the Gimel Rosh Hashanah. So he's going to finish the sentence later. That B'meila, these three and these three are interconnected. But first he goes a little bit of arichas on this whole concept. No, that the Gil should reach all the way in the lowest Madriga. The source has to be from a very high Madriga. The it's supposed to bring the general statement that there's a big arichas about it in shiur of the Mittel Rebbe. A lot of places in Chassidus. There's a cloud. There's a few mashalim on them, and that one of the famous mashal from the wall. When there's a very high wall and it falls, the rocks that are on top of the wall they fall the further. It's a mashal. The other mashal is what's the other mashal? I don't remember. And this is the most standard mashal. There's a few mashalim. It tells you if you want to go, the further you get, it comes from a higher place. So that's the cloud. But he brings a few dogmas in Ruchnis. Number one, the emek rum v'emek tachas mechvonim ze keneged ze im ze. In the sum dafka emek nimshach emek lamati is, which is emek tachas. That's one general statement. There's emek rum and emek tachas. The depth, the deepest up high and the deepest low. So from the top, from the higher get to the low. What's the dogma? There's one dogma. See, get to Tzias Mitzrayim. He's saying that God, it says in Pasuk, "V'avati v'eretz Mitzrayim alayla o ani v'lei malach, ani Hashem ani v'lei malach." Right? It says. Sachsidus explains why the Liyos Mitzrayim Erev Saor is because Mitzrayim is in the state of Erev Saor. It's lo yefshel malach lashel. The malach, because he's not that high, cannot lower himself so low. Right? So this is a dogma of the concept that in order to reach Lamata B'Yesa, that's to come from Lamala Yesa. He brings up a few expressions of this klal. So expression number one was the Tzias Mitzrayim, that in order to take the Eden out of such a low place, Mitzrayim, it had to be the Gilu of Ani Hashem Ani Ovelayach. That's number one. So now the example number two is Kamei Savas Yesh Me'ayin Zadav Kamatzer. So he jumps either way to the ultimate thing, the creation of the physical, the Gashma is like a world. Yesh Me'ayin comes from the highest level, from the Likus. So that's a general point. Then he gets more specifically, also we find that there's Shamayim v'Oretz, there's heaven and earth, and the Pashtus, heaven is higher than earth. But Koyach HaTzmicha, the power to grow, which is similar to Yesh Ma'ayin, is dafka in earth. The earth is lower. So we see that the Koyach HaGavoya is the Koyach HaTzmicha is the Mati is on earth. Tzmicha keini Yesh Ma'ayin. Tzmicha is compared to Yesh Ma'ayin, Shara Garin Nirk V'Nifsa B'Gamre. The seed that you plant is totally gone before it starts growing. This koyach hatzmicha u'ba'oretz dafka lo b'shamayim. Hagam da shamayim l'mayim ha'oretz. The Pashtus heaven is higher than earth, which is obvious, but he brings a pasuk to prove it. There's a pasuk to prove that shamayim is higher than ha'oretz. But Shekosov, it's interesting. In other words, the concept of shamayim and ha'oretz. The fact that shamayim is higher than ha'oretz it's obvious, but he brings a pasuk to bring out the inner meaning of it. Says pasuk says ki gova shamayim v'oretz mashal l'dim l'mayla l'chein gova dorcha midakech. The pasuk tells it's not just that shamayim is higher, measurable the time of space. More than that, the pasuk says ki gova shamayim v'oretz kein gova dorcha midakech, which means ke'erech haflos ha'dolas ha'be'er v'aniva kein ha'dolas ha'shamayim v'oretz. So we see here how much Shamayim is higher than Earth. It's like the Eberstand in the void. Like it's the biggest leap it can be. Despite that, the Koyach HaTzmicha, the power to grow is dafka in Ba'oretz. Why? That's the concept of Kol HaGavoyes HaLamatis. The Scholar, which is even above Shamayim, that power to create and tzmeya is dafka nimshach in Oretz. The Oretz, and now he goes into another. Okay, until now we spoke about the Pashtus and the earth. But then he says also in a more conceptual, the Oretz of Chinas Malchus, Sharas Malchus, V'Hadlo of Chinas Tachten Shavatzus. Says in the Oretz, Bichlal in Kabbalah, in Chassidus, Shemayim v'Oretz is Zohar Malchus. Oretz is Malchus. Malchus is the lowest sphere. The sphere's concept is Elamadivo. It's like the most external sphere. But at the same time, Sheresh HaMalchus, the source of Malchus, which is the highest level, which is sometimes called Prinat Tachtena Shavatzis, which means the highest level in Lamayim. So it's another expression.
Attic? Is this Attic?
Yeah, sometimes it's Attic. It's called Attic. Yeah, because like it says that the difference in Attic and Arich is Rosh Netzolim, And Atik is Prina Tachtoina Shebe Prina Tachtoina Shebe Ma'atzmas, Shebe Maitza. The Koyach Haisav was a Dafka Watts and Sof. So the Koyach Haisav was a Dafka Watts and Sof. Shaul Vadi V'Grech V'Chot Alav Zesh Mayim V'Esamuchot. The Koyach Haisavos is the source of Koyach Haisavos is Atzmas and Sof. So the Vadi V'Grech V'Chot Alav Zesh Mayim V'Esamuchot. It says Nigas Takej Simen Chof. Koyach Zeh P'nas Malchus Daf. So we see what a few dogmas here, they were all interconnected. That first of all, the koyach hatzmicha is ba'aretz. That's a very physical thing. The koyach haisavos is dafka in malchus. 1 second. One second. So what are we? So we bought a bunch of dogmas of the concept of kol gavei so lamati is. It went mamish in a very extended elaboration on this concept, but he did not finish yet. Kamoi Kain, we see this also in Avodas Hashem. Dafka the avodah p'nei yesh. Dafka to the avodah in yesh in the physical world in the yesh means also in the ego, even there, which is the laws. So we see also here that the kol gavei is lamati is. We see it all over. We see it in the physical world. The koyach hatzmicha is ba'aretz was a shemayim. We see it in the mile spheres, the laws spheres malchus, as the koyach haisavos. You see in Avodas Hashem that dafka to mice from yesh we reach atzmas, and it brings from also from the mile we learned earlier. Vayita eshel zeh mice amitzis from the sir from the kfir ve'echer. We learned in the Maimer of Vayita Eshel that the mile of that there's a special mile in Maisa mitzvahs. Because a seer ve'echer kfir. שזה דווקא ממשיך מבחינת עצמם. because מזה Vayita Eshel in face. We learned it earlier. So from all these examples, we see clearly that how all these examples kol gavei so lamati is. Going back to our discussion, is the Yuvon, the Vitshuvas, Avai Goy, Bryce, Hashem Natzadik, Loi Pliga. So the mail there's no machloikas between the Vitshuvas Avai Goy and the Bryce Hashem Natzadik. The Vitshuvas Avai Goy and the Besher Sham Shach, because given the Rosh Hashanah. So in other words, their disagreement, what the additional 3 that are added to the 10 in order to create it Gimel Midas Rachman. So the Chuvas Rabbi Goen says the additional 3 are the Rosh Gimel Rosh. Shimon Tzaddik says is the fakaz the below the lower madrigas below the spheres. Elam is biyah, which is below the spheres that seems. So he says the truth is that they're interconnected. It's a shir sham shochem because go to Rosh. Why Shimon Tzaddik would have b'mem amshichim? So shul adavar is biyah. So Beilev turns out it does not. That's how he reconciled the steer. They're not really arguing. The question the question is, what is the source and what is the result? So the source is in the Gimel Rosh Hashanah, and the result is the Amshach in Biyah. Why? Liazel Gimel Tzachim. Because Pnim is a Kesser with the Amshach Zel. The Aved the Biyah. That he already adds the last thing he spoke was about the avoid. He says there's another correction to the avoid and be the gimel tzach. Because be the rabbi the dafka from the base of the base and brings a high of Zoya from Zoya. The Zoya it says class almin the nafka with the kunda kadmor. That this class almin the law 3 words. It's a see nafka with the kunda kadmor. They are derived, they are taken from Tikkun Kadmor, the earliest Tikkun, which is the highest Madrig. Which means that there, Mamshich Tikkun Rishon, the Gimel Tikkun Dikna, the Tikkun Kadmor, the Gimel Tikkun Dikna, the Gimel Midas Rachman, also the Gimel Tikkun Dikna, the 13, I don't know what I'll translate Tikkun, the 13 garments of the Tikkun Bushim. Gimel Rachmim. So the first one, Tikkun Rishon, is Nimshach to the Gimel Al. So that's explained also in Torah. Okay, so now, okay, after this whole discussion, going back to the original concept we're talking about Maimah. If you remember, it says in the Maimah here in the beginning, it started saying that Yaakov, v'ikach Yaakov makar libnu lachlos ba'am me'patlat sol. It says the Zohar. Yaakov is mamshach tinas tiferes from Lamailo, and he was mamshach in Biyah. So this is to bring out this point that in order to be mamshach in Elam is Biyah, you have to go from very high madrega of tiferes from Pnimis HaKeser. So this is Zer the Yaakov, Yimshach Gil Biyah, Le'esem Pnimis Tiferes Shel Pnimis HaKeser. So the Sol Arichas with the whole Machlekas, the Bais, the Shemna Tzadik, with the Shuvas HaVaygon, all this was to explain, elaborate more on this concept of learning. We learned here that Yaakov was Mamshach from Tiferes, the two Tiferes from Pnimis HaKeser, and that Amshach is Nimshach in Elam is Biyah.
How does this mean ממשיכים בתיקון הראשון, דיוגים בתיקון הדיקנים? What does that mean בתיקון הראשון?
The Gimel Tikkun Dikna is with the Sarachim. The Tikkun Rishon is the first of the 13, which is the highest madrega. The first of the Gimel Sarachim is Shem. It's tail. He doesn't elaborate here exactly what it is. It means the highest within the 13 group. It's the highest one. The highest, the first Kadmor, the first Tikkun, which means from the highest madrega within the Gimel Sarachim. That's the general point. Okay, so we finished explaining one point. How the Yaakov to his avoid of the Maklis was a mamsha from Pnimius Kesel to the in the Elam is Biyah. So we finished one point, but now he's going to go more detail. Obviously, Yaakov was saying love and Dafkot. Now we have to explain one thing we didn't explain why it was. That's one of the questions he asked. I think in the Maimah also he asked love loving. You see in the beginning of the Maimah. So Mashkalov does have its own love and dafka. Why is the Yaakov Aveda connected to its own love? We explained the meaning of the Maklas, the Kitzel, but we have to understand what was the idea that Yaakov Aveda was betzoin love, the sheep of love. So to explain that, he brings in this famous Maimah of Mishpatim Torah. The Inik, see, Zahat is basically soul, Zer Adam, Zer Beim. Pasuk says that basic soul is really split into two types of the shamas, Zera Adam, Zera Beim. Shiash ben the Shama is based madrigas. Zera Adam, Zera Beim. So this is the two types of neshamas. What's the difference? It says Zera Adam and the Shamas that seals. Zera Adam, which means the human seed.
I'm sorry. I missed what was Josh Tim's Einun base.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I missed that line. Akudim the kudim budim. Remember, I said earlier, that Yaakov to his avoida, because there are two states here. First is Mamshach Pnimis HaKeser in Elam is Biyah, and Elam is Biyah to their avoida, to their lost man, they reach very high in Akudim the Kudim Avodim, which is the Biyah Klolim, like you said earlier, right in the first, in the where was it? In the bottom page I involved. Look at it. There lost man the Biyah, Im Shem Primas Akudim the Kudim Avodim Shem Biyah Klolim. So this is the avoid of Yaakov. I mean, avoid Yaakov is love and after in the see Zahati, but it's always Zarabeim, Shesh, the Shama is based on Madrik, Zarabeim. Zera Adam and the Shamas Atzilus. Zera Adam is Mashamas of Atzilus. Like I said the first time, it sounds to me like this is like the Lashon from Tanya is the union of Tzadikim Gemur. So L'chaira, if you think about it, what's they get to us? But later in the Maimah, in a lot of places it talks about Enach Nama to be a Tzadik Gomor, the way Tanya describes something which is outside of our reach. But more detailed, more specifically, every individual in the specific parts of his life, specific avodas, also reaches that level of spirituality, of connection to the Eibishter. So what? I just gave it as an introduction. But Cholifni says that generally speaking, the Neshama is the Atzilus Koshikosu. Neshama is the Atzilus Koshikosu Nasa Adam Betzalmeinu. That the Eibishter created the Neshama is Betzalmeinu, in our image. Who is Tzalmeinu? Shebchinas Adam Elim, because not the Atzilus. That you make Adam, the human beings, there's Neshamas of Zera Adam, that's Nasa Adam is Betzalmeinu. It's in the image of Zod Atzilus. That's the Adam Elim. Neshama is the Atzilus, and calling Bonim Lamokim. So the Neshama is the Atzilus are called Bonim Lamokim. They're the Eibishter's like children, like the sons, which means it's a very strong connection, similar to a father and a child. Not only that, there's also Neshamas that are called Achim V'Reim, and a brother is a higher level than the son. A son is a generation below you. A brother, siblings is like a peer. Achim V'Reim. When some Neshamas are called Achim V'Reim of Zod Atzilus, which is, in other words, in Neshamas Atzilus Gufa, we have a higher Madrig, which is, I mean, I don't know, practically speaking what it means, but it's just a higher Madrig than Neshamas. B'meile, Betzalmeinu. So that's why it's called Betzalmeinu. Just like a child is like a father, Betzalmeinu, and a brother also. The brothers resemble each other. It's two cholifin. So that's what.
Why is he saying Zod Atzilus? Not higher than that?
Adam Elin is Zod Atzilus. That's what it is. Adam Elin is Zod Atzilus. Why? What's the question?
Why is Zod? Why not? It's in Atzilus.
Most name Adam. Adam is Zod Atzilus. That in Kabbalah, the Zod Atzilus, that's the like the what do you call it? The body, the essence of Atzilus is the Zod. He has Meichin, he has Malchus, but the essence, the Atzilus is Zod Atzilus. The Anpin. That's the Adam Eliyah. Of the Kabbalah says
it's not correct to say Moshe Rabbeinu was Chochmah Atzilus.
He's not talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, Moshe, he had a whole of Chochmah Atzilus. He's not talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. He's talking about that Adam.
Neshama is the Atzilus.
Yeah, but the Torah Adam applies to Adam. Adam Elin applies to Zod, because usually the Torah Adam means the midas. Adam applies to the midas in general speaking. So the mele, the Zod Atzilus, this is the essence of Atzilus. Just, and we can say that like when talking the person, what is a person? The person is really his emotions. The Meichin are more help. The more and the mice is an expression. The core of the person is the emotion. That's the way it is in, I think, according to modern psychology also. The core of the person is his emotions. So the core of Atzilus is Zod.
So he doesn't mean to say Davke Zod Atzilus. He just since Zod is the core, he doesn't mean to say not higher than Zod Atzilus.
Why not? Yeah, first not higher. Zod Atzilus. Adam is Zod Atzilus. When we say Nasa Adam Ketzalmeinu, means that the neshama resembles Zod Atzilus, like it says in Tanya. That the neshama takes the neshama is in the image, in the form of Zod Atzilus. Yeah, it's Zod Atzilus. That is the meaning of Adam Elin, like it says in. It says it.
What I mean to say that when we're saying the Neshama is Atzilus, you said it's V'davke, it's Zod Atzilus. It means that the Neshama Atzilus, average one, is not reaching higher than Zod Atzilus, correct?
Pashtus, that's the meaning of the Neshama Atzilus, yeah. But he said in that guf, he says the two madrigas. One is bonim and one is achim, which I'm not sure what that means, but Neshamas Atzilus and Zod, part of Zod is resemble Zod Atzilus. Yeah, that's the way that's what he says it. But that's what Neshamas Atzilus are. Now you have an issue because sometimes it says that the Neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu is connected to Chochma and all. So if you understand properly, the way Chochma is part of the Zod, the Meichin the Zod. It's all part of the Zod. That's the simple way Chassidus describes what Atzilus is. But he'll talk about it a little more about later, about Moshe. This point is talking about the neshama Atzilus. The neshamas Atzilus are bonim and achim v'tzalmeinu. Okay, so I understand it bothers you why not above the zone. That this is how it
I
goes.
just want to understand what is the gather of the Neshama Atzilus.
Yeah.
Is Agbola. Just to understand it a little more. Agbola that it's not reaching higher than Zoh. Talking about Neshama is the Atzilus.
Because okay, so because Meichin is above the Meichin of Atzilus, Chabad is above Yachas to anything. So is already the Midas of Atzilus. That the Midas means there's a Yachas to the Zulas. So in that world there's the Zulas Kaviyachol the Neshama. The Neshama of Atzilus is an extension of Zoh. Meichin of Atzilus is above anything, above any creation. So maybe it's above the Ein of Neshamas. I think that's for sure. Okay. Maybe I'll look at it more. Zera behema. So that's Zera Adam. Zera behema. Neshama is the biyah. Zera behema. The Neshama is Zera behema. Neshama is the biyah. The Keshem Sham Malachim the Bria Nikoim Shem Behemes V'Chayes, just like the Malachim in Elam Bria, obviously Tzir Asir are called Behemes V'Chayes. They're like animals. Like it says in Pasuk and the Makovis Cheskel Pnei Ari Pnei Shiur, Kamayka Neshamas the Biyah Nikoim Gam Zera Behem. So that's step one. The neshamas that Atzilus are called Zera Adam because Nasa Adam B'Tzalmeinu. The madrig of Adam is B'Tzalmeinu in the image of Zoda Atzilus. That's why it's called Adam. The neshamas the Biyah called Behemah, just like the Malachim of Biyah. So that's step one. But for sure, what is the difference? What's the definition in our case? What is the difference between the Adam and a Behemah? For sure, the Adam yesh ledas and Behemah in ledas. I think, let me see. In the Gemara in Bava Kama says Adam Islam Mazla, but I think I want to see if there's a source that's out. Okay. Maybe the Gemara says Kol Adam Shein Ledas Asal Racham. I don't see Adam Yesh Ledas. I'm not sure what the source of this expression is. I'm sure this is. I see a lot of sources of Chassidus. What is the? Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's stuck in the Gemara. Yeah, it's stuck in the Gemara. Interesting. Maybe that's stuck in the Gemara Bava Kama. Gemara Bava Kama says right in the beginning, Adam Islay Mazda Be'ema Leslay Mazda. So Rashi says, what's the pshat Islay Mazda? Rashi says, Yesh le das. Be'ema Ein la das, Ein la Mazda, Ein la das. Maybe that's the source. Okay. Like I thought. Okay.
What's Mazla?
So Mazda, so Rashi says Mazda means das. So it's not the regular pshat that we always learn, but that's what Rashi said. It's in the Gemara here. Yeah. It doesn't negate to share a mood.
In Pashtus is Dova Movon Me'elam.
Yeah, the problem is, the question is it going to be medayik? It's going to be a whole pupil, the Russian das. In other words, if you can say it in simple English that humans have consciousness and the Behemah doesn't have consciousness, right? You can say that, but here is going to be a whole Hilpul in the Maimer, is medayik very strong in the word das. That's why I'm looking for a source where there's the expression only das to say this, in other words, when we say Adam, it's on Zion. I always thought to the beginning on Zion without. I thought right in the beginning about the comment. I guess I forgot. So what does it say here? Yeah, it's more Zion. Mod, okay, mod la adam ene mod la behemoth. That's the whole thing starts. Mod la adam shera mod, you know, the halacha of shera mod. If we learned in pasuk mishpatim, the shayr that hit another shayr and hit someone. There's mod. Tam means the first time he does it. Mod means the third time. So the Mishnah says in Bava Kama, mod la adam ene mod la behemoth. So Rashi said, I feel the Islam Mazla. Let's see. Mazla, okay. So, yeah. Oh, it isn't. Yeah, I remember that at the beginning of Bava Kama. Oh, well, it says at the beginning of Bava Kama. Oh, okay. Let's something about. Maishno gabe Adam the ksiv ki igach. Maishno gabe be'ema the ksiv ki igoif. The pasuk in pasuk of Rashi Mishpatim ki igach shayr ish and ki igoif shayr ish. So by Adam it says ki igach. By be'ema it says ki igoif. Says the Gemara. Why Adam is lemazda be'ema less lemazda. Says Rashi. Let's see if I remember back in the beginning. Adam Islam Mazi Yeshle Das Lishma's Guf. I think this is the source of this whole thing. I mean, I don't see an earlier source. Yes. So basically, the source expression Adam Yeshle Das is the Rashi in Bava Kama that based on the base. That Adam Islam Mazi is Yeshle Das. So that's the difference. We talk about Zera Adam Zera Behema. What is the difference between Adam and Behema? Yeshle Das and Ain't Das. So now, simple meaning of saying the difference between a human being and an animal is whether he has the intellect. The Isra Adam alav chaim who b'seichel shabal chaim tivim v'adam b'seichel. That's the difference of human being and animals. That animals tivim, everything they behave is instinctive. Masha'enken Adam is Seich. So we have to use this concept to explain the difference in the shamas of Zera Adam and Zera Behem. So
Shkoyach.